Hi, this is Karen Gaines, your nonprofit finance guide, and today we are going to continue our discussion on preparing for a financial statement audit. In the last video, part one of this discussion, I talked about obtaining an auditor, just taking time out to secure an auditor because it can take some time for you to find one. I also talked about connecting with the auditor early in order to do preliminary work, reviewing the financial statements for accuracy. You want to make sure the financial statements are right so that when you hand it over to the auditor, they are looking at correct and accurate financial statements. I also talked about restricted and unrestricted funding and making sure that is presented correctly in your financial statements in your balance sheet. All right, so let's go ahead and continue our discussion on preparing for a financial statement audit. All right, so next item or next step in preparing for a financial statement audit is having accurate donor records. Okay, so when donors make donations, when people make donations, you want to make sure that you have their information. You want to make sure that you have their name, their address, the amount that they contributed, because the auditor may want to look at those records. They may want to they may want to make sure that you're tracking all of that information to ensure that the donors, receive their letters at the end of the year showing how much they contribute. Okay. The auditor may ask for, just like the whole audit trail, the auditor may ask for, a copy of the bank statement showing when the donation was made and it going into the accounting software and it being posted to donations on the financial statements. Okay. Next item, make sure your revenue and funding details are categorized. Okay, so the revenue, income, funding section is located on your profit and loss statement. It should be clearly categorized by revenue and funding type. You do not want one line item that just says funding or revenue on your profit and loss statement. It should be categorized by revenue type. So you should have your service revenue, your grant funding, your foundation funding, donations. All of your funding sources should be categorized so that the financial statements are clear, they're readable, and it provides more transparency. So the auditor is going to be looking for that. Okay. Next item to prepare for a financial statement audit is gathering contracts in all your contracts and agreements. This includes all of your contracts and agreements you have with any vendors, contractors, even with grantors. All of your agreements surrounding your grants, you need to gather all of those contracts and agreements so that you can hand it over to the auditor, so that the auditor can look at all of your contracts, agreements, read through them, and then what the auditor will likely do is perform some tests to make sure the contracts and agreements are being followed. They want to make sure that the contractors are being paid per their service agreement. They want to make sure that that the grant is being the usage of the grant is being used as per the agreement, and revenue from the grant is being recognized as it should per the grant agreement. So really, the purpose of looking at all of these contracts and grants is really to make sure that they are being followed and that they line up with the financials. Okay. Next item. Make sure you have your most recent 990 tax return available. Typically, the auditors like to look at it and review it. There's typically no questions that come from the 990 tax return. They just like to read it and review it. Okay. Next item in preparing for a financial statement audit is internal controls. Auditors typically like to review your internal controls, and that generally means them reviewing your policies and procedures and making sure they are followed. So what will happen is, they'll ask for all of your policies and procedures. They will look through it. They'll more specifically ask for the financial related policies and procedures. Okay, they'll look more closely at those, since those types of policies and procedures have like a direct impact on your financial statements. And again, what they'll do is review those policies and procedures and perform some testing. They'll ask for they'll probably give you a sample of maybe invoices or whatnot. Depending on the policy they have, they'll ask for a sample so that they can do some testing to make sure that the policies are being followed. For example, there may be a policy in place that requires all bills are to be paid. All bills require a signature in order to be paid. So he'll just look through all of those bills to make sure there's a signature on those bills before getting paid. Okay. So you just want to make sure all of your policies are in line and they are being followed before you hand those over to the auditor. When it comes to an audit, you want to be prepared to answer a lot of questions, especially if you are dealing with a brand new auditor. They know nothing about your organization, nothing about your business, so they're going to be asking a lot of questions in order to gain an understanding. They're going to ask legal type questions. They're going to ask if you're in any type of litigation, if there was a lawsuit, anything surrounding the legality of your organization. They're going to ask if there were any major incidents that occurred. Maybe there was a slip and a fall and it resulted in like a very large settlement for the employee or the person that fell on your property. Just any major incidents, especially ones that impact the financial statements. They'll ask questions like if there was a change in leadership, if there were any major changes in your industry, in your organization, and just questions surrounding or questions about the current processes in place for your organization. All right. So just really expect to spend time with the auditor. Just expect, some discussions. I know everyone is busy, but you're going to have to carve out time, allocate time for the auditor because they will have questions. Also, you want to anticipate disclosure notes the auditor may want disclosed. And this really consists of anything that requires further explanation that's not clear simply by looking at the financial statements. So this could mean something like providing the disclosures about the retirement account. Okay, maybe disclosure relating to I'm just making this up, that the retirement fund consists of both a 401k and Roth IRA, just something like that. Just anything that the auditor may deem necessary that the readers should know. All right. So if you follow these instructions, take these recommendations that I've given you in this video and the prior video, you should be prepared for an audit. You should be at least fairly prepared for an audit. Prepare for an audit so that you receive an unqualified opinion, which is a clean opinion, which is what you want. Being prepared for an audit, it just makes the whole process go smoother and it makes it go quicker. All right. Most auditors are very busy and you want the audit report to come out as soon as possible. Okay. Because I'm sure you have other people waiting on that audit report. So it's best that you are prepared so you can give the auditors what they need so they can do the job and get out and get your audit report. Okay. And so, yes, auditors are looking for any misstatements, especially material misstatements. They're looking to ensure that gap is being followed, but they do prefer a clean set of books. They prefer an accurate set of books. All right. So it just makes life easier for them. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you're, let me know what you all think. If you're watching via YouTube, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching and have a great day.